What you mentioned before when you were talking, I wanted to bring up again was, hitting it hard into fashion and seeing the culture surrounding like Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so crazy that this day and age now we're looking back at everything, everything's unfolding
Mm-hmm.
before our eyes, and um, how long were you like you kind of in that circle until you were like
Yeah, so
because
like
you were with a group,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it was just a group of friends. My best friend, Vino, he rapped, and so we all kind of just rallied. We didn't have ambitions necessarily starting out. Besides my friend Aaron, he wanted to produce and engineer, but
yeah,
we were just trying to fill like voids. You know what I mean? To help propel him because he was good. He was great. He still is. So we believed
uh-huh,
in him, and we were being those friends that I was talking about earlier. Like
right,
they just get the vision and they buy in behind you, and we just really started like getting into the industry, like just out of curiosity and stuff, and just how it really was, and started getting into some of the darker side of the industry and how it was, and so they really kind of, Aaron and my Vino's brother kind of just, stepped away from it,
yeah,
and me, I moved away, so. Even though I would have loved to help, I just wasn't there. So he's kind of on his own with it for a while. But man,
yeah,
yeah, we saw that. That was like 2011, around that
yeah,
time, 2012, where we really started to realize that. And it's like, whoa, man, like a lot of the things that was in our face, we just didn't know what it was. And then you learn about it, and then
right,
it's like, now it's just like sticking out. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's like,
yeah.
wow. And yeah, it was a little discouraging because we're feeling like the whole thing was like that, which is not. The more you get into it, the
Right.
whole industry isn't like that, but
Right.
there's a large number of people that are
Hmm.
suspicious to say the least.
And you see, like, starting at like now they're. I watched that documentary talking about all that from like 1990, like back then when they were kids, and
Childhood over, man. Like,
yeah,
jeez.
nuts.
Wow.
It's just and it, like it's it's disheartening, especially like being a musician,
Mm-hmm.
when you see somebody that kind of comes up
Mm-hmm.
and they're not good. You're
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get to this point? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're overproduced. You see them live, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I wouldn't pay a $10 cover to see you
Yeah.
at one of the local bars. I mean, it's
100%.
just, how do you make it to that point when you know that you've seen people that
Mm-hmm.
actually have talent
Mm-hmm.
are still just doing here, and little stuff. And
Absolutely.
it's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating.
I think too, what you have with the industry now, right, and the difference with nowadays, and why you see those types of artists are more prevalent. It's not like the few and far in between or the norm. Like back then, that you had to have the talent. Like it didn't matter what buttons they pushed behind you. Like if they weren't gonna do it if you didn't have the talent, right?
Right.
Now it's more so about much attention you can garner, right? Because views, things of this nature, that leads to
Yeah.
money for these people who are on these social sites or behind you or own your masters or
Yeah.
all this good stuff. So I think it's just the times have changed, and what that did was those gatekeepers that a lot of the times artists complain about now, that were keeping a lot of people out of the industry. I think they were keeping a lot of that mess out too. So
Yeah.
once the gatekeeper type of situation where now anybody can really push themselves onto the mainstream through social media and these different
Yeah.
avenues.
Right.
Whereas before you had to go to clubs, perform, you had to go, on the street
Yeah.
corners and stand outside of the label and trying to catch one of the A&Rs or something coming out and hope that they buy into you and
Yeah.
then want to build you into a star. So
And two,
it's
it's
just,
like with this day and age too, of like how much attention you can garner. It's almost like these production companies are looking for who can get the attention to put their production behind, and you have these guys that might be subpar, like a lyricist or something,
Right.
getting just like It's wild that we're talking about this because it was just a couple days ago. For some reason, my algorithm keeps dropping Lefty Gunplay on me, and he doesn't really have a lot of substance the way he raps,
right.
but the beats behind it, it's like I'm insane Andreas again. I love it. Like if I
Yes.
could just listen to that,
Yes.
so like he's got this like crazy production behind him, but it looks like they just grabbed him from LA,
Yeah.
just threw him in the
Yeah.
mic,
Just
like
put him
he
in the
just- yeah,
spot,
that's
yeah.
that's yeah.
The other thing was too is, I mean, before, like you said, now the way social media and everybody wants, you know, immediate satisfaction on everything. So they might put something behind because you have one catchy tune, and they'll grab whatever they can, and then you're done. Where when we were growing up, like if you went out, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you were if you were Dre or you were Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You went into the studio to not put, I hope I get one or two songs. You went out to put an album out that everybody want to listen to from side A to side B all the way through.
Yes, sir.
And you can't even find that anymore. I mean, thank God for streaming albums, because I think my album purchase would be few and far between, because a lot of the, like, oh yeah, I like that song.
Right.
And you listen to the rest of the album and it's junk.
Yep.
So it's just like you said, you have these people that be like, oh hey, we'll grab Razor, and he's got a TikTok following, we'll do all this, we'll put one song out, it hits, and then the next thing you know, you're like,
money grabs.
where did they go?
Yeah,
like, it's
before, the industry. So we're in the information age, right? And so now artists, in a good way, can educate themselves on how the industry works, how masters, how to own their intellectual property, all these different things, these things that artists back in the day, they weren't given the education on. They found out after the fact, right? They found out they're in these terrible deals and can't get out of them. They're getting ripped off.
Managers who won't in turn teach them anything, but they have all the answers.
Absolutely. So now that artists have smartened up, they're coming to the table with they're not going for the same contracts anymore. So these labels, the way they're looking at it, like, yeah, we would have spent a bunch of money and developed you in artist development, like on interviews. Like they used to train artists on how to interview and how to respond to certain questions. They don't do that anymore. That's why you have all these viral moments of artists saying ridiculous and incriminating themselves and all kinds of stuff. They don't have those same guardrails up, because it's not as lucrative, right? They aren't just taking all of the rights from everybody anymore. There's a lot of artists that have smartened up. They're getting distribution deals instead of giving up masters and things of this nature. So the labels are like, okay, well, I mean, it's cool you guys are smarter now. We just aren't going to spend that much more. You have to have a team already in place. You've got to have motion or cloud or something already in place, and you have a fire set, and we're going to come throw gasoline, aka money, on it, and we're going to make it ignite just way faster than you could have done on your own. We're going to make our money back 5 times fold instead of 10 or 20 like before. But they made that money back in 6 months instead of 5-6 years, right? Like, so the game is changing. How we said before, like it sucks in a lot of ways. It's good in a lot of ways, but the consistent matter is it's not going back. So like you have to adapt or you'll die.
right.
So like I'll try to look at the brighter side of that. My brain is just, I like to focus on the positive, right? Like the glass half full, right? Type of perspective. So the good side is, so now if I can put a team of people around me that I trust, it might take a little bit longer to get that team put together, right? But these are people that I trust, not that a label put around me that I have no clue who these people are.
Feeding them information too in turn.
100%. I have more creative control. I have an ability now that nobody can stop me from putting music out because of the distribution with these streaming platforms and things. Before, an artist couldn't get 2 million CDs made up and printed out like on their own. That they needed labels for that. Now you don't need that necessarily now. So it's a gift and a curse, because the just thing to do is for the labels to say, okay, hey, you guys smartened up. All right, we're going to be fair now. That's not the reality though. So they're just going to adapt. They're going to adapt to keep their margins.
That analogy was good, because like you said, you have the fire going and they'll come put that gasoline off, but what happens once that gas burns off?
Exactly.
You're just a
going to the next. They're on the next thing.
Yeah, it's just
that's it.
That's a perfect analogy for it. But
and they have different avenues of like providing services for artists that they'll lose, and they'll just try to find another way. Like think of like the actual music production aspect of it. You can go on GarageBand, find the loops you like, put them together, record yourself, and you can license that as your own song. Whereas like back in the day, it's like, no, you have to come to this recording studio and you're pay him for studio time and
that's why the standard was higher, right? Because a kid right now or an adult, whoever, can go in for $250 Like I still to this day record, mix, and master on my $250 set that I had from the get go. Well,
Yeah.
I lied. I just upgraded my mic like a month ago, but same equipment, right? Somebody can go in their house, record it, put it out, do something on TikTok, and make a challenge from a bar from the
Yeah.
song.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going viral from a challenge. And this person who's terrible
Yeah.
is like famous. And you're like, how did this happen?
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it can happen in one or two ways. Sometimes it really is just by a luck situation. They did the right thing to go viral.
Yeah.
They got attention. And that the one thing about the internet is good or bad response. A response is helpful, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna you profit off of the response, good or bad. So that's where you get trolls and people
Yeah.
like that, right?
It's almost lucrative to troll yourself just so you can get somebody to defend you, and then the chain starts.
It's, there's literally some people. It's called troll posting. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen like they have the camera set up and they're making a ridiculous meal, like they're putting crazy stuff in
Yeah.
it, not cooking it all the way,
Right.
and then you look, they got 60-something thousand. They know that's not
Right.
how you do it. They do
Right,
it on
yeah.
purpose because they know it's going to get the reaction, which gets them the monetization,
Yeah.
right?
One of the biggest
So-
hashtags is cringe. On all the apps, if you search cringe, you can just find people being just cringe because they know.
You know what? Thanks to my wife, I get on the TikTok side because she always sends them to me. The cringe weddings because her and Jake's wife, they own a wedding decor business.
Yeah.
One of our sponsors, but
Shout out Sage and Soul Decor Rental.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so she always sends me this stuff like, and so next thing I know, I'm going through my For You page and it's just same thing stuff that you're just
Yeah.
like, oh man,
Yeah.
why?
Dude,
But like you said, it's that same lady that's loving her medium rare chicken that she's serving to her family.
That's what it is. You got people like one of my personal things that I get. I just go down and I look up and I'm like, man, I've been on this phone scrolling through
Yeah.
reels for 20 minutes. But the animal voiceovers, bro.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
videos.
what's that one guy, Rockstar or something like that?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Dude, and that's the thing. That's the beautiful part about the internet,
Yeah.
right? Like, many people are finding the craziest lanes to create for themselves
Yeah.
to change their lives
Yeah.
financially, and so it's dope in a lot of ways. Like, the internet is not all doom and gloom. It's just that you kind of have to take the good with the bad, right? Like, it's like you can't have this good thing without the possibility of this bad thing, because if that
right.
bad thing is not possible, then it just the construct of it will take that away as well. So
Yeah.
it's like what you feed into is what the algorithm will keep feeding you. So I try to like stay on things that are, you know, what I want to tie into. Like, I've learned that if I see a post that I feel like is like triggering, I want to, I just keep going. I don't react. I don't
Yeah.
sit on it for too long. Keep going, because, you know, next thing you know, I'll see more of those and more of those. And now I'm going back and forth with a complete stranger who's probably a troll. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean any
yeah.
of it, but they got me hook, line, and sinker. And I just spent an hour arguing with somebody about something pointless.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, that's
I've never done that.
yeah, but
and like so much time like you spend arguing could be them on the other side writing
Amen.
50 comments on different threads just throughout the day, not caring about what they say, and he's just taking from your time.
that's funny. I literally saw a documentary. That's kind of what made me stop doing it. I saw a documentary about a guy that trolled for a living.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He had like 3 computers, he had phones throughout his house,
Yeah.
and he would literally go from one, see a post, comment something
Yeah.
as crazy as possible, and then
Right.
put that down, and then go to that's what he did. And the crazy thing is, his pages and things, he was making money.
Yeah.
He was making a living sitting in his house and getting people riled up and ruining their day.
Yeah.
So that helped me also understand that, and then oddly enough, the Vince McMahon documentary
Okay.
really settle in that if you can tap in to people's emotions, if you can draw them in emotionally, because a lot of the times if you're high in emotion, you're lacking in logic in that moment, right? if you can do that, they'll forget all logic, right? Which means like it makes
Right.
no sense to argue with this person. But now I'm emotionally reacting. I'm going to engage in this post, and I'm going to put 50 comments, myself, just one person on this post,
Yeah.
and you don't. That's how you can really capture the social media game. And I'm just recently learning this because, like you said before, I'm not a big social media person personally. I know I need to learn this and I need to do this for what I'm trying to accomplish. But as far as in general, before music, I was never on it. I never really posted a lot. I never really scrolled. It just wasn't my thing, right? So, but I know that flip side, if used correctly, you can really build a fan base, a solid fan base globally, not just like regionally or nationally, but literally around the world. So that's where I'm in the process of it, you know, kind of this like this break period that I've had, gathering myself mentally again, and emotionally and spiritually again, learning like, okay, let me take what I've done so far and let me go back and reflect, and let's see what worked, what didn't work, what I need to get better on, and thinking of new ideas as well, allowing myself space to be creative and continue to do things that's gonna further not just my career but the music culture around here for other artists and things like that.
And we talked about earlier, when you're promoting an event, you're working with other people. It's just I couldn't imagine promoting an event, working with all the people, the amount of communication that's necessary, and then it being a competition. Because like the competition aspect just gets that like that the high emotion level. Because I just judged one a sing competition in Powhatan Point, and it was just like everybody was on edge because just everyone wanted to make sure it's fair. That's pretty much what it is.
And you know, for me, being an athlete, competition is where you find out who's for real and who's not.
Yeah.
Who's in this really trying to do it and who's just doing this as a hobby, right? And so for me with the shows, the competition side of it was to feed the artist.
So let's talk about a little bit about the event before we
absolutely.
How were it was a $50. It was event. It was it monthly?
Yeah, so
the Waterfront Hall.
That was the pace that I was trying to maintain
And,
and things like that. Yeah, for sure.
How did it was TBT and the competition from a competitor standpoint? It was $50 entry, and then was it original composition like that night to get the audience?
Yeah. So
how was it structured?
So how it was structured basically kind of all right, so the only reason why I charge, because like I genuinely, the purpose of this, and when I break it down for people, they understand it, and that's why like Dan got so behind it, because he saw that like I'm genuinely not trying to get rich off these people like most showcase hip hop showcase guys are trying to do. Like I'm really trying to do something that will give them a steady place to grow, perfect their craft, and profit off of, right? So the $50 entry is to make sure that the person that says they want to do it, they take it serious and show up.
Yeah. Right.
You got money in the game, you're going to show up. You're not just going to put your money and not show up. And a lot of the times, if you don't do something of that nature to ensure that commitment, people show you the show, you got to juggle things. It makes everything look bad, and it works against the artists who do show up, right? So for me, I get $50. I don't take any of it. I do 10 artists a show, $50 a piece. There's a $500 prize, and I break it down in different ways, right? Like the first one was just the 500, just flat out. The second one that I did, it was $250 to first place, $150 to second place, and $50 to third.
Okay.
And so the next one I'll do, like I'm gonna throw in a music video that, you know, because I'm shooting music videos and stuff. And now I'm gonna throw in a free music video, like different things that are going to actually help them
build the
on their way.
Yeah.
Right. And they get something from it. And so not only that, but they also, these different artists and things like that, they're going to be bringing, like I said, cross branding, right? So they're going to have their supporters that are going to come, right? And for them, rightfully so. They're gonna come have their supporters, and this is actually a strategy for the artists that are smarter. A few of them like really picked up on it, but I don't know if the other ones did. They didn't really say anything about it. But a good strategy is, hey, it's picked by the crowd. I don't pick the winner, so that's how you know it's fair.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
all pick the winner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pick the winner. None of my special guests, pick the winner. So you can't say it's rigged.
Right.
Yeah.
So, hey, artist, if you got the most people in there, it's a good chance whether you were terrible or not
Yeah.
to win because you got the crowd reaction, right? The best reaction. So the crowd picks the winners, and that's going to protect the integrity of it. So people know that this is something that's for real. It's not like something that's rigged already or set up for a certain person to win. I've been a part of those. I've been a victim of one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've been a victim in another artist, Javinci Bands, that Slick, our manager, manages. He got ripped off. Like by far the best one. Even was told that like this is yours, and then some things happen, and some other people who are friends with the promoters and the people ended up winning. They were terrible, but so it happens. It's part of the game. So everything that I'm doing with this show is to be the opposite of the BS that I experienced in myself, right? And we're gonna build it here. So instead of what I had to do with a lot of artists that before myself here have had to do, we got to go chase it elsewhere.
Yeah.
We have all the infrastructure right here to build a music scene.
Right.
We're centrally located between multiple major cities. We've got multiple colleges in town, and then close to WVU, like pretty close to OU, some of these different places, right? Then you look at, we have this beautiful downtown development that's going on in Wheeling, right? With these new venues and things.
Yeah.
And then let's say my goal, my strategy, and my hope for it is, start Waterfront Hall, get to a place where it's just okay. We just have too many people that are wanting to come. We're turning too many people away.
Yeah.
Get into the Capitol. Then never we start doing events at the arena. We have all of those things right here,
Right.
and in a matter of a few blocks from each other. So it's like.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Rich Investments Group. Attention investors, looking for a secure way to grow your wealth? Rich Investments Group, based right here in St. Clairsville, Ohio, is offering an incredible opportunity. Their private lenders earn returns up to 3 times higher than a typical CD. And the best part, your investment is backed by the property's mortgage. That means real, tangible security. Rich Investments Group prioritizes transparency, communication, and delivering industry-leading ROI. It's time to put your money to work for you. Don't miss out on this chance to grow your wealth securely with Rich Investments Group. And visit their website, richinvestmentsgroup.com, today to learn more. And if you actually go back to episode 20, you can kind of meet Jordan and Eric, the creators of the company, and see all like the services they offer and their business model and plan. They also offer free seminars if you want to get into real estate yourself. It's just an incredible company to look into. That's Rich Investments Group. The countdown to Christmas is on, folks. When you head out to look for those perfect gifts, don't forget to shop local. Jolene's Custom Creations, located in Wheeling, West Virginia, offers a wide variety of quality, custom handmade gifts from noodle boards, cutting boards, charcuterie boards, Lazy Susans, wall decor, laser engraved slate, and so much more. There's something for everyone on your list. Any product can be personalized for that special, heartfelt touch. You're sure to get a smile from the recipient of one of these beautiful gifts. Not sure what to get? How about a gift certificate so your loved one can choose later? Let Jolene's Custom Creations take the stress out of your Christmas shopping this year. Make sure you like and follow them on Facebook, and also check out jolenescustomcreations.com today to order. And don't forget to join the rewards program before you order so you can earn points towards discounts on future purchases. That's Jolene's Custom Creations.
Just seeing all of that, and I have such a love for this area because moving around as a kid, I went to 15, 16 schools before I graduated high school. Man. You know what I mean? I bounced around a lot between my mom, my dad. My mom, she's a very ambitious woman. If there was a promotion or opportunity where she could better take care of her family, she was taking it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what we got to do. So this area, out of all the places that I've lived, has been the longest place that I've lived in one area ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not my birthplace, but it's home. I'm gonna rep it as it is because I've gained so much as a man here, my daughter's born here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my thing is any place that I've gone, I wanted to leave it better than I found it. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I do a lot of these things. Like I've got my music start here. So if I can keep going and gradually growing, I feel like it's not only should I, but like it's a responsibility to pay it forward.
Right.
You know, pay it forward, bring it back, keep these resources here. There's a lot of talent around here. A lot of talented artists. You know,
Yeah.
Millie Can't Go, Lil Rob Mir, Da Vinci Band, Kels is, you know, still around and she's doing music here on her own. It's so much talent here, dude.
Yeah.
And it's such a like a talented history
Yeah,
here
right.
of big figures. So I just want to pay my respects to it, and that's one of the ways that I want to do is with this show series.
I know for us, and I'm speaking for you, but I think I can speak for you on this. In the time that we've had the podcast, and we've had, I mean, every genre come in here, it's awesome to see because every single person says the same thing. Like Wheeling's gonna blow up. I mean, we've got everything we need. Like you said, we're centrally located.
Yep.
Like you said, there's WVU, there's Pitt, there's I mean, all kind of, and we're right here. And they're starting to put more stuff into the arena and places like the Waterfront Hall, and it's just, it's so fantastic to see how many people were excited about Wheeling.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Wheeling.
Yes,
no,
yeah.
Wheeling.
Yeah.
Starting to come up because
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
with people like you and the Waterfront Hall and other bands and stuff, it's not like they want to get better to go someplace else. They want to get better to
Stay
promote here.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's really exciting, especially now. Because for the most part, everything that's going on right now, I would say is probably like a grassroots kind of deal because we're starting from scratch, literally from. I mean, they literally ripped out the road. They're starting from the roads up, and
Absolutely.
I think it's exciting to be a part of and seeing who's behind stuff. So like
Right.
I know, hey, this show's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go support him because
Yeah.
he was on the
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
and we know him. And I know if you're free and we're doing a show, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna go support them.
Yeah.
And it's because that's the thing about this High Valley is it's communal. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
Yes.
it's not about
Yes.
it's not really my I don't I'm gonna support you. Whatever. But I mean, and you see that more and more that you like for us, like we have people that don't do a lick of karaoke for a 2x4 show.
Right. Right.
But they're at every one we play.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they don't
Yep.
they don't put a song in, but they're there.
Yeah.
They're supporting us.
Absolutely.
And you see that more and more, and it's really exciting. So, I mean, I know for Jake and I mean, we're you got us behind you because we
Yeah.
want to see you go. We want to see
yeah,
everybody
man.
sits on the other side of the tavern
Yeah. For
to
sure.
thrive because when
For
you
sure.
thrive, we know it's going to help this person. We know it's
Right.
going to help this person.
Right.
And if this person thrives, that's going to help you. And
Absolutely.
it's just, it's awesome. So
That's
I
it.
think a lot of Ohio Valley's always been like a little bit behind on like especially like technology, but especially like social media promotion. I think that as Wheeling's opening up, I feel like artists need to understand like as this is opening up, if you can promote yourself the right way,
Yeah.
you can branch out of Wheeling so easily.
Yes.
And the best type of promotion is cross promotion.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy to
right.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. The first show, because I have a few artists that I work with, like Kid Crazy. He's one of the artists that Slick's managing, and he's working on a project now. He's got like 15 different artists from the area that are gonna be. He's like a big collaborative like project. And I, that's great because of the cross branding power that can be generated behind it. If everybody is taking it seriously and things of that nature, it could really do make a lot of noise if you guys push it the right way. But for me, with the shows and keeping people here, I think personally, entertainment is the glue to a community, right? Because if you don't have entertainment, which to me, entertainment is an escape from reality periodically for people, right? They can escape from their reality and enjoy a moment that takes them away, even though they haven't gone anywhere.
it's the
right?
best therapy out there.
100%.
That's it.
And so when you don't have that, which the Wheeling area for a while didn't, you see a lot of our young people leaving. You see a lot of the people, like the hardest thing for me to get going with the shows was not to like get people necessarily interested in the show, but get them act interested into wanting to do something.
Yeah.
Because they got, especially with COVID, they got so used to not doing anything.
Right.
So even if you had a good idea or a good event that was like attractive, they just wouldn't feel like it because they weren't used to doing it anymore. So it took a little while for people locally having events and, dealing with, like light turnouts and, people just, not very much support at first. Those people don't get enough credit. The Ron Scotts of the world, these different people don't get enough credit because they kept the hope alive in the root of it when the surface was dead, right? When COVID hit and things, they were the ones that were still like, we can still do things. There's still potential here. Let's find ways to figure out how we can keep this, going. And so, I just, with my whole approach, I think that if you do something that benefits other people, the sole purpose, not the sole purpose, but the primary purpose is to feed other people, you're going to be fine, because those people will, as you help them develop and grow, they're also going to help your platform or your business or whatever it is grow. The bigger they get, and they come back and show, it's going to come back, right? Like, I do videos. I know how much it is to get a quality video. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I'm charging like a third of what most videographers charge. Not because like I don't like think my quality is as good. It's just more so, hey, that $200-$300 that I charge helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
Helps me out a lot. Pay my bills, keep investing in my stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
So if I can do it to where instead of you having to pay $500 to $1,000, you can pay $200. Well, that money, that $300 to $500 you saved, you can now promote the video.
Yeah.
You can actually have a budget to promote it and market it, and then it goes further and it does better. And now my catalog looks more legit.
More links to you, your company, and
so that's always been my mindset with when I was in sales at A&B. I sold a lot of cars because I was a volume salesman. I didn't care about trying to make a whole bunch on the sale. I just wanted to keep cars going out because the big money was in the bonuses, right? For the number of cars that I got out the door. And so what I would do to build my integrity up was, I'm going to educate you first. Yeah. I'm going to show you and teach you really how this works. So now when I present you a good deal, you're not just taking my word for it. You can understand that, okay, this actually is a good deal. This guy's a man of his word. I can trust me. The next time when they come in or they send somebody, they don't even question me. Yeah. That whole guard up of sleazy car salesmen is gone because my integrity's been validated by their knowledge and intelligence, right? So if I can do the same thing here with music, right? If I can help these artists, give them game. I'm not sitting there. Any artist that reaches out to me, asks me questions, you can talk to them. I give them the game, the same information that I know. I'm gonna give it to you. Because I believe nothing you do is gonna stop me from what I'm doing. So why would I want to hold you back? Right? Especially if I see you're hungry and you're really putting the work in and you really want it, I want to reward that type of behavior. That's how I
you have that filter, that $50 filter too, to be like, you're not going to waste my time. At the same time as me being open for everybody.
Yeah, that way you just don't get anybody just, I can do this. I'm gonna, and then you just show up, and it's a waste of time, energy for so many people, and it was, just, they don't take it serious. But it's good, and especially you see that you have that following. That people like, okay, like for some people, $50 is a lot of money. But I got a chance of 500. Or if I don't win it, there's going to be enough people in that crowd that might see something that. I like that.
Even more so, right? I made it available. Like the second time we did it, I had a little bit of different of decision. It was all digital because it was kind of last minute. The details, and Dan, thank you, Dan and his team. They already have an infrastructure, so we just went with their ticket buying process. But the next time I want to go back to this method. But what we did was, when you bought the $50 the first time, the $50, I put the $500 up myself. The $50 that they got there and they paid for it, I gave them 5 tickets.
Okay.
So if you sold those tickets, they're $10 a piece for the ticket. You sell 5 tickets, what do you got? Your $50 back. Right. So if you're willing to do a little bit of work, you know what I mean? It's free. Yeah. Right.
And you're doing the promotion anyway to try to win.
I'm promoting it and everything for them. On top of that, if you wanted to buy more tickets, let's say you got rid of your 5, but you got 10 more people that are interested in coming. I then sold the ticket for $5. You pay 25 for those 5 tickets or 50 for the 10. You sell all 10 of those. What do you got? $100. You
Yeah.
made money.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
great.
it's
That's
an
a great
opportunity. If you want to put the work in, you can. If you just want to pay your 50 and perform, you could do that.
Yeah.
Right. But either way, you're not losing. Nobody lost anything. And that's the goal.
And I'm assuming like the people that would say like, oh, it's a popularity contest. I'm sure that if somebody came up and had something really quality, no one's going to just have a silent crowd because they don't want that
No.
person to win. You know what I mean? They just want to build them up as well.
I'll beg the difference because I'm at this point in my life right now. I don't sugarcoat anything for anybody.
Yeah.
It is a popularity contest. Yes, it is. Just like the music business.
Yeah.
Get used to it. If
Yeah.
you're afraid of a popularity contest, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, right? The artist who has the most fans gets a lot of the rewards.
Yeah.
They get the #1 album spot. Not every that whole. I'm not a person that favors the participation trophy generation.
Right.
Like that whole thing. Loss creates character.
That's it.
You gotta lose. You gotta understand how it feels to lose. So you work. So you don't want to feel it again, right? Like
Same way with competition. Yes. Like I'm if I'm gonna go up against somebody, I want to make sure because if I get beat, you know what that tells me?
Yeah.
I gotta do better.
yeah, you got something to work on.
I mean, it's you know you go back to the whole Buddy Rich getting a cymbal thrown in his head. I mean, what did he do after that? He didn't be like, oh well, that was a bad. No, he went and practiced till his fingers bled, and just he pushed forward.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, like you said, sadly, a large population of youth today is that participation trophy.
Yeah.
And just because they win,
Yeah.
they want to throw a fit. Okay, you're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
If
right.
you can take that loss and be like,
Right. Right.
that was terrible.
Yeah.
Or even if you
Yeah.
did win and you knew that you didn't do your best, you're like, I got to do better. I mean, I know that we've both played shows and like where I'm like nobody else knows.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like the first set was terrible. I
Yeah.
was missing stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't hitting runs. I wasn't, and I'm mad at myself. And everybody's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm
Yeah, it
like,
was
oh,
great.
that first set was terrible. They're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
nobody knew.
And a lot of the time it's because, the perfection is a creator, we all want everything to be perfect. But the thing that you have to realize is most of the people that are in the audience don't have trained ears. They don't
Right,
have,
they're not- yeah.
they're not catching all those things that we're catching, you know what I mean? And so they're really enjoying the moment. If you can capture the emotion, the thing with me that's made me a pretty good performer. I hate gloating and bragging. So I'm not going to say, I'm this greatest. I don't do that. But I do know at this point, by not because of just my own feelings, but from the reactions of people all over this country, right? That they've enjoyed my performances, and the reason why is because I connect with them. I set up my sets and things of this thing. I don't just have my songs where they play with none of that. I'm setting up bomb drops. I'm giving myself gaps to introduce and build up the next song in between one. Like I want to grab your attention and grab it emotionally. So you're drawn in because I'm a lyricist, like I'm a lyrical artist. I'm not somebody that is going to depend solely on the production to make you love the song. A lot of the people that like my music is because they're listening to the words and they hear what I say and what the message I'm putting in there in the way that I put it together, right? So I need the audience to be drawn in to catch that, like to actually like hear those things so they feel it.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then a lot of the times, a lot of it goes over their head. They might enjoy it, but not to the depth that I want them to. But you gotta back to the point of like taking the L's. I had to go and not get some good reactions in certain places and kind of like have dull moments where I learned what didn't work and what did work. So I will give it to the artists that have performed. So we haven't had one that's, oh man, how do you, nobody's complained. Everybody's gotten the message and understood what I'm trying to do with it. So like they get the bigger picture of this is the build a music scene. You might feel you were better, but at the end of the day, that person just had a better response. And so it's a life lesson if you haven't already learned it at that point. But then it's also a music business lesson. Hey, man, it's not about who's the most talented anymore.
Right.
It's about the one who works the hardest or the smartest. That's who's going to break through. And if you're not doing the things that you need to do, then you won't make it. the first time that I did it, I gave the artist a blueprint. I didn't tell them all this was what I was doing, but the ones that paid attention caught it. I had about 3 or 4 that like I've had conversations with, and they caught that. So the first time I had one, I did a catchy content, visual content. It's fun, humorous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of added some different, effects to it. When I rode up on the little scooter, something visual, it went crazy. It was because it was first time, like, oh, people were excited, right?
Yeah.
So I dropped content, right, to introduce the event. Then I sat and I dropped content for a song that I was going to drop, right? And then after that, I made the flyers and dropped those, and I made them for
Planned
the different
exposure,
individual
yeah.
artists. So that keeps the motion going. And then after that, I dropped the song,
Excuse me.
right? And so then I dropped the song, and then at the show, I performed it, right? And I got a great response. And then after the show, I literally watched, because you could look at your figures. I had a lot of people that went and listened to the song
Yeah.
and saved the song. So I gave them a blueprint of how they could use these. Like the goal was to do it one a month. So if you think about that, if you drop content to promote your song,
Yeah.
then you drop your flyer for the event, for the show.
Yeah.
Then you drop content, or you drop your song and put content behind it, announcements, things of that nature, right? Then you go perform that song at the show, record it, visual of it, drop content of the
Yeah.
show, and you just keep repeating that process. This is where we create a scene here where you don't have to do what I did and fly out to Miami, fly out to New York, the Texas, all over these places, performing, trying to get these people to follow what I'm doing. We can do that right here.
Yeah. And like for artists that like hear what you say and think, oh, drop content, that seems daunting, and want to avoid social media, like the apps that for creators like Meta Business Suite, they'll tell you like, hey, your followers are on the most Monday at 3 p.m. Make sure, what do you want to drop here? And you can plan out your schedule. You don't see anything that might catch your attention. Whereas like you might go to the actual Facebook app to drop something, you know, I'll do it. Before I even hit video, there's a reel of Dragon Ball Z. I'll click it and then I'm down like this rabbit hole. But like they have like actual suite apps to help like creators instead of it just having to go through the algorithms.
Instagram, and like I said, I don't sugarcoat stuff, especially with myself. I'm the worst with myself than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I tell myself all the time when I'm sitting there frustrated about like social media and I get overwhelmed because I'm juggling so much. But just that individual, it's not that big of a deal, dude. I can sit there. There's an app that you can take and you can put like 5 or 6 different clips in it, and it'll make the AI will make a post for you
With subtitles.
Yes,
and
with
everything.
subtitles, all that, right? So I can take content, make 10 of those, right? And I can go on Instagram and I can schedule the posts to where I hit go one time, and it now will post these things on it. So I had to get real with myself and say, I'm making excuses.
Yeah.
I'm making excuses at the end of the day, because if you educate yourself, if you learn instead of just trying to depend on all talent, right? If you learn the business, you will run into these things. You will find these things out. You will connect with people that will give you information because they respect your hunger.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. I've reached out to people. I've annoyed people in their inboxes. I've done all those things. Now I'm more the one being annoyed in my inbox, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's like, okay, one, it shows my progress, right? Like I'm progressing in what I'm doing. But it's like, man, now I get to be somebody that makes some artist's day by giving them the time of day and giving them game. That was a great feeling for me when people would like give me, and especially if they said it's because they looked at my page and they saw I've been that. I see you out there moving. I see you. That's some of the most endearing words that you can give another aspiring artist, right? So that's my thing is, have I made it where, especially to the levels I want? No, not at all. But I have established myself around here. So as I'm trying to continue growing and expanding, it makes sense to reach up and pull up. It's that Atlanta culture from hip hop. Like up until I would say 3 or 4 years ago, Atlanta was known, their artists just kept it. Even if they were beefing with an artist, they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't hate on that artist, like grind with the music. Now, if they ran into each other at the same club, they might kill each other.
Yeah.
but seriously, they might take each other out. But
Yeah.
if when it comes to hating on their grind, they wouldn't do that, because the more artists that blew up in Atlanta, the better it was for Atlanta, because the
Yeah.
people were going to keep coming to Atlanta looking for more. They understood that. And this started all the way back in the day when Andre 3K said it on that stage, oh, y'all don't respect the South?
Yeah.
Y'all don't watch this. Ever since that day, Atlanta artists developed that mentality, and you see where they are today. They're like the new mecca for hip hop.
Yeah.
It was New York, but like Atlanta is the spot for hip hop now. So that's my mentality, is building up and helping give as many artists around here a chance to make it as I can, because I know all it takes is one to kick the door in.
Yeah, it really
and
does.
now the labels will come to us.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm never going to get in the way of another artist. If I'm going to engage with an artist in their pursuit of their career, it's going to be to help them. If not,
Yeah.
I'm going to stay out your way at the very least.
I was talking to somebody that worked in the city, and we were talking about the difference in social medias between like different cities and Wheeling. And I said, when you have like a mecca of entertainment and you have like a strip of places that people are playing at, if you look on the street, there's street interviews going on. There's all kinds of different people filming for their own channels, and everybody's using the hashtag, like, I know, like in Austin, 6th Street.
Yeah.
So like everybody's using 6th Street Austin. I think that's where the Hawk Tuah girl got discovered. So it's just like, if you want the promoters and stuff to see what's happening around Wheeling, you just need a bunch of exposure saying like, oh, there's actually stuff going down. Not just the artists doing it, but just everybody saying like,
In general.
hashtag Wheeling.
And that's why I respect the Wheeling, the new Wheeling regime, and what their government and things of that nature of expanding. And I know, for me personally, the downtown developments as far as structures for entertainment and businesses, I love that. I would like to make sure, I hope that the process in terms of the real estate and the gentrification of it, it's not in a effort of displacing those people that had those places first to obtain it and make, but maybe giving them an opportunity to make improvements or different things of that nature, or opportunities to keep it. And I hope people aren't being pushed out. But as outside of that, in the entertainment, the business side of it, because I don't know too much about that side of it, what I do know is they're doing great things in that manner. I love it because, like I said, entertainment is what's going to keep people here. It's 2024, man. If you don't got entertainment, you're not going to keep the younger generation, who's going to be the ones to keep pushing that forward, right? They're the ones that have the energy to go out every weekend. I know I'm not a go out every week. I told you, man. One hangover night for me, I'm out of commission for a month, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's like recovering from minor surgery.
Listen, I need a body cast right now, man. I'm afraid to move.
Every like hangover I had after like 29 has been like Kobe's flu game. I'm just all wrapped up sweating on the couch.
Yeah, it was like I said. I was after spending an entire career in the military. I think I got to a point, but finally my liver was like, no,
bro.
no, 'cause if you decide to hit it hard, I'm gonna make you punish.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Make you hurt.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you just
feel
like,
it.
But as far as my wife knows, I haven't had a hangover in like 3 years because I suck it up.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd be like, oh no,
man.
nope,
Yeah.
nope, I'm good.
And that's the other thing too is, we have 3 colleges in a very close proximity, right? And I remember my freshman year, I went to West Lib, and then I transferred and I finished at Marshall. But I remember my freshman year, everybody on the hill would come down and would go to River City on the weekends. That was like the spot. You know what I'm saying? And so I know that a lot of students, they go to college in a certain place, they fall in love with that area so much. After they graduate, they stay. So if it's rare in this state. I came from Martinsburg, right? And Martinsburg, because their proximity to DC and Baltimore in the DMV area, and also there's a train station that leads, like you can take a train straight from Martinsburg downtown to DC. So they've been developing because a lot of people with money over there are moving there. They can buy houses, better property for cheaper, things like that.
Yeah.
And they just a short
Just
commute.
ride the train.
So what I've seen, like this type of development, like years ago, like this process start, and Martinsburg's way ahead in that aspect. But when it comes to entertainment, they're light years behind.
Really?
Light years behind. There's a couple artists back that way that I keep telling, like, bro, come this way, bro. They would welcome you with open arms around here, dog, and what you do. And yeah, so like shout out to Young Drac, my dude, man. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, he's one of those ones that's teaching me about social media. He's mastered that. Like his TikTok to like he's really understood the algorithms, and like he's making like he just cleared like $2,500 off of his streams.
It's
last
nuts.
month. Like he's really like, and it's real. It's across all play. It's not like that doctors.
Right.
He's really doing it, and I'm proud of him, man. And that's what I just feel like this area has the potential for that. Like you got the arena team there,
Yeah.
so you got the hockey team there. Like you got a lot of a really solid foundation to build on, and so that's my hope, man. And what that I can bring to the table is in the entertainment side of things. Because I'm one of those people, dude. I don't. Nobody's gonna box me in. I want to get into film. I want to like not just music videos, but actual film.
Yeah.
Short movies and film and things of that nature, and develop from there. Acting is what I want to get into. You know, the sports side of things, and bringing like sporting events and like developing youth sports and more activities and things. My best friend, actually, Aaron, the one that I told you, one of my 4 best friends that was started with music with me. Him and his brother, they do AAU tournaments all over the country, and they're actually going to be bringing one to the Highlands, and then there's another one that's going to be coming to like I think in the Washington or Canonsburg area over there.
Okay.
But the one that they're doing here, like I'm going to try to help as much as I can and make it something that's like they bring, because they're doing a tournament in Newport News or down in Virginia Beach area. They got 170 teams. Across like starting from like ages 2nd grade all the way up to high school, 170 teams in one weekend, man. Can you imagine what that does for the economy, right? These people coming and getting hotels, eating at the restaurants. This is what we need. That's what's gonna like create more jobs, develop this area. Entertainment is the spark.
Yeah.
Entertainment is the spark. That's our responsibility, is to draw people here and keep them here. And so that's why I take it so serious, and why I needed to kind of recharge, man. I was going hard for that first 2.5 years, like off like 4 hours of sleep, because the one thing I won't do is sacrifice from my wife and my daughter. Although they make sacrifices for me, they understand what I'm trying to do, and so sometimes I'm sure she would like me to not be having to go to this or that as much in some of those busier periods, but she understands the magnitude of what I'm trying to do and the people and how I'm trying to help people, and so I try to respect their sacrifices that they make for me and not drag it out too much. So I give them their time during the day, and I don't touch my music stuff until they go to bed. And if I got to be tired to make this happen and make sure that they're not deprived, then that's what it's going to be. And so I know my route, my music that I make is different. My route that I'm going to have to take is different. Who I am as an artist is going to be different than most. There's a lot of artists that are out there that are dating or married. You know, it might affect their fans. I'm not going to hide that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to, I can't, you know, and if you don't like me because I'm married, like you don't like the music, all of a sudden, because that's on you. My music isn't for everybody anyways. I'm an acquired taste, man. I know that. I'm okay with that. Like I'm not insecure about that. Like I'm not going to go everywhere and everybody love me. Honestly, a lot of people might not like me at all because, like I said, I'm going to tell it how I see it. I'm not going to disrespect people, be rude to people, but I also can't lie about how I feel about certain things. So if I say anything at all, it's going to be actually how I feel. If I feel like it's not appropriate to say how I feel, I just won't say anything at all.
Well, the other thing is, too, is I know for me, mentors that I've had through my career that were like that, they don't sugarcoat it. They tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I learned more from them than I did because there's nothing worse than somebody saying, "Oh yeah, you're fine. You can do that. That's not going to be a problem." And then they go down the road, and it turns out being a problem.
Yep.
Now they're stuck, and then they'll be like, "Well, he said that this wasn't going to be an issue." But
Yeah.
but if you were like, "That's not how that works.
Yeah, man.
You need to do A, B, and C."
Absolutely.
And they're like, "Well, I don't want to do A, B, and C, but if that's good, okay, I'll do A, B, and C, and then find out down the road, hey, he was right. Like, I learned more from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I'm that same way. I tell you what you want to hear,
Yeah.
not what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And my kids that are adult children now, a lot of times they didn't like it. Now that they're
Right.
older, they're like,
Right.
I see why you like that.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm not trying to be
That's
a
a
dick,
fact. That's a fact.
but this is what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And like that ain't gonna work.
Yeah. For me, like, for example, I know, and most fathers will probably experience this, but a lot of the praise early on goes to the mom, right? Because
Yeah.
they have that tighter relationship, and a lot of the times the father is like the disciplinarian more so, so they're
The
more
fetcher of
worried.
things
Yeah,
and, yeah, a lot
they're
of-
more worried about what he
yeah.
thinks, and so like I know that my gratification from parenthood is going to come probably later when my daughter's older, and a lot of those times where I corrected her, where I wasn't easy on her and she didn't like it at that time.
Right,
But then
right.
she sees how some of her other friends and how they were raised, and the difference of where they at in life and the struggles and traumas they deal with. Like, that's what I'm prepared for. Like, I tell my daughter all the time, I have zero problem with you hating me. I have zero problem with you hating me for the right reasons, right? Because I'm gonna do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like, my feelings, I don't care how bad you hurt my feelings with how much you may resist, me doing what's right by you. It's gonna come a day where you're gonna come back around, because it's the same thing happened with my
investment.
parents.
Yeah.
I tell my mom and dad all the time, especially my mom, because I was raised by pastors, right? And they were very protective over me because I'm the baby on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
in my family, in my generation, on both sides, my mom and dad's side, so like me, my brothers, my cousins, that whole generation, I'm the youngest of all of them. So like, I got so many barriers of protection
Right.
of me. Still to this day, man, I'm grown. I'm a grown man. Let any one or two of my, let any one of my brothers hear anything, and they're dropping it at an instance. And seriously, and so for me, I know that a lot of the structure that my mom put around me, I didn't like it, man. I hated it growing up. But then when I saw how that structure as a man, when I became responsible for myself, and I went through my grown pains as a man now, I have such a better respect for her, because the things that she equipped me with those lessons, with that structure, is why I'm able to adapt and navigate and keep, a certain level of mental positivity in situations, and I have a heart for people. All of these different things were results of their upbringing and the lessons that they taught in that structure. So, they didn't, I know I gave them hell sometimes,
Right.
because of like how much I didn't like it, and I wasn't very happy with them, and I know that probably hurt their feelings, especially my mom and things like that. But so now every chance I get, I'll thank her. It's like, that was the first thing I did when I talked to my mom when I had my daughter, when she was born. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Because those feelings that I had about my daughter, I understood it like on a way deeper level. Like, man, I'm sorry, bro. Because man, I know I've had to give you, I had to make you feel some type of way about a lot of things, and I just didn't know. I was just being, a kid, and reacting to my emotions, immaturely. But the same way I am with people, the analogy I look at it is this. Let's say for whatever reason you're blindfolded and you're walking towards a cliff to your death, and you don't know there's a cliff in front of you, you're blindfolded. Would I be a good friend in person if I just let you do it because I was afraid of you being mad that I stopped you from doing what you wanted to do? Or would you thank me after you pulled that? Hey, you might have been mad at first, like, what you doing? But you pulled that thing. Oh, crap. Yeah. Oh, good luck. Like, so I'm not going to be that friend to watch you walk off a cliff and not say nothing. I'm going to say something. In a sense, not like disrespectfully or rude or nothing like that, but I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to let you know, or especially if you ask me, I'm going to say exactly how I feel, because I feel like that's real love, right? Like, honesty and truth. Like, that's how you honor the relationship with love that you have with somebody is always being honest and true. Me and my wife, I might make a mistake, but if I own up to it and, I, actually like, repent from it, like I don't, I'm conscious of it and I try really hard not to do that thing or say that thing or whatever it may be. That's a sign of love, right? That I'm honest in the fact of, you're right. I can admit that. Now we could work through it. But if I'm not honest about it or true about it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, that's not what it meant. I keep deflecting.
Right,
and we don't get anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
And the little time you have spent producing your music and stuff is going to be spent thinking of the stuff that didn't get resolved.
hey man, my first ever time recording in front of somebody else, because I was real self-conscious, like, you know what I mean? My best friend Vino, who's the rapper, and it was my friend Eddie. And we're at Vino's house, and I got the little setup and everything, and I'm about ready to record. And man, this was before I learned how to project my voice and stuff like that. And as soon as I start rapping, my dude Eddie said, "Hell no!" And dude, when I tell you, that crushed me on the inside so bad, I was like, "Damn!" Like I lost so much self-esteem in that moment. But after the fact, like I appreciated him for it, because if he didn't say nothing, I was just gonna continue sounding like hot garbage.
Yeah.
And I would have never, you know what I'm saying, until somebody else said it that would have hurt my feelings way worse or damaged my career or, whatever. So I just learned to value truth, man. I learned to value truth and the people that give you the truth no matter what, because they love you. Those people love you. They want what's best for you.
It's a lost art.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest difference when I see somebody just starting to rap or just like deciding they're going to follow that passion is you can either sound like you're reading from a script or you can sound like you're actually attacking a microphone. And it's such a big difference when
100%.
there's emotion like going at that microphone.
Authenticity, man.
Yeah.
People can feel it.
Yeah.
And people aren't silly, man. People can, the vibration, people can tell. And that's like with me, I don't rap about stuff that I haven't experienced, really lived, or I'm growing to be, right? Like if it's not a part of my life, I'm not gonna portray that. I'm not gonna speak on that. I'm not gonna put that message out there. So a lot of the times when people hear my music, they'll hear similar cadences and maybe beat styles and things like that to today's artists. But when they actually listen to the words, completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different message. And I pride myself on that.
And there's only so many ways you can divide a beat too, at some point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I come from lyricists. Like, again, I consider myself like that bridge, like generation. Like I came in at the brink of the technology boom, and I was like, I got that old school in me. I grew up old school type of music, again, pastor. So I listen to gospel and in the blues and oldies. Like that's all I heard growing up. You know what I'm saying? That's like you hear a song like, Thought I Was Done. Like that's like those types of beats and feels and that old gospel, like man, that's where I come from. You know what I mean? And that's the music that like hits the hardest with me. I still to this day, you look at my playlist, most of the songs came before 1970.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. I don't listen to a lot of daily rap because, I understand the power of words. What you take in is what comes out of you. So I'm careful with the messages and different things that I'll beat into my conscious, especially my subconscious, right? Like the stuff that I'm not intentionally listening to, but it's playing in the background. I'm careful about all of that because I understand and I know that is not meaningless. Like words are just meaningless.
Who is growing up? Like, who were some of your influences? Like when you're like, kind of molded you to go this path? Like what?
Like musically, or like as an artist, or just in general?
Just
like,
musically. Like
musically?
what was you like when you were growing up? Like I don't know. Not that I'm trying to ask, but like me growing up, we had the box and it was all cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And then you went to the DVD, the CD sleeves.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, like who were your influences growing up musically? Like when you're like.
Rap wise, rap wise.
Or I mean, it doesn't even have to be rap wise. Just who, like you said, lyrics mean something. So
absolutely.
Like, who was into something where you're like, okay,
a go to easy one is Pac. Not just not just the lyrical side of him, but like the revolutionary side of him, right? Like how outspoken he was, how unapologetically himself he was. That's a big one, and a pretty easy one. But I tell you what, one of the more inspiring artists today, even really for me in my pursuit of music, a little bit later than most people start in life, is oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Give me a second. It just slipped my mind because this lady, my mom, absolutely loved this lady, and her name is. If I stop thinking about it, it'll pop back in my head. But she started making music. She got her big break at like 43 or 44. And this was at a time where it wasn't all vanity. It wasn't like you had to be young and like she was like she was a talent. And Sweet Love, who's the singer of Sweet Love? I need to look this up because it's gonna make me mad. My mom is gonna be
Sweet
so
Love, like
Sweet Love.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's man. Hold on, man. It's good. Hold up. It's good. Hold on. I'm gonna be mad. Anita Baker.
That's it.
Anita Baker. Listen, my mom. Every vacation we went on when we were younger, my mom would put her CD in.
Yeah.
The Rapture. And that was the whole thing. Like if we was in the car for 12 hours, we listened to the Rapture for 12 hours. Like that was her album, bro. So like I know all of her music by heart. And for me, it was her ability to express her emotions and things of that nature using her vocal ability, but also the lyrics were very moving. Like she didn't have to have this amazing voice, and I still feel like it would have been moving because those words were so universally relevant to people who were in love that were either in the stage of like anticipation of like hoping this is the one, like that early phase, and then that latter phase of you're heartbroken because you found out they weren't,
right,
and like figuring out how to go about it. That point, and that's everybody's been through that, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a person that inspired me. Like, hey, even if you're a little older, like you don't got to be 18. Like, and who cares at this point? A lot of this, we're back at that phase now. Like, people aren't caring about that as much anymore.
Right.
Some, the Grammys, Killer Mike winning Grammys,
right?
We're 40-something years old. You know what I mean? You got what's his name? The with the tattoos, Jelly Bean, wasn't it Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got
completely
guys
changed his life around. Yeah.
Man, so.
And then you look at like Post Malone.
Yeah.
He's crossed every genre.
Crossed over.
2 years. I mean,
he can do it. He can do it all, and he doesn't have to be limited, right? And so that's a big one. And then let me see. I'm trying to think of a maybe more shocking one. Man, I tell you what, because I got a wide range and taste in music. If it's good, I'm gonna like it.
Right.
I don't and so, but growing up until I start like we moved out of Florida, and Florida, everybody either black or you're Spanish. I ain't really see white people until I moved to Virginia. Real talk. I didn't see white people until I moved to Virginia, man. And so I moved to Virginia, and it was culture shock because it's like mostly white, and you got some black people there. You know what I mean? So, the first white like band or like musicians that like I was like, oh man, this is good, like this is dope. But that was outside of the hip hop, R&B, like gospel area. It was Maroon 5.
Maroon 5, okay.
Yeah. Maroon 5, man. They were like that was like the one that was like, oh man, you give other types of genres a chance because like it's like before where I grew up in the hood, you go around listening to rock, they look at you like, bro, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So. It's a little bit different, but they opened up the a wider range or a love for a wider range of music. Yeah, and so I'll give them credit for that. But to be honest with you, when it comes to making music, I don't have too many inspirations. Yeah. One, I didn't grow up aspiring to be a rapper or artist. I didn't. I thought I was going to be in the NFL. I thought I was going to buy my mom a house already by now. I should be on the verge of retiring right now. You know what I'm saying? But So I was just I was a lover of music. I loved good music. I love quality music. I love music that moves you. And so that's the more inspirational to me. I don't try to sound like anybody. Honestly, when I'm making music or if I'm in the process of making a project, I don't listen to other people.
Well, the good thing is like you said, you have your foundation is to make music that people can get, that they can feel.
Yeah. Yep.
And are emotionally attached to. It's not just and that is a lost art anymore. It's just so I mean that's fantastic. But I'm like you. If you look at my playlist, it goes from Five Finger Death Punch to Andrea Bocelli and Willie Nelson to like you said, Biggie and
man,
and Pac, and I'm all over the place. But it's the same thing. It's like you said. If I like it, I'm going to listen to it.
100%.
And I'm fortunate enough to where when I grew up where like rap was just really getting started with Slick Rick and all those guys and coming up, and then on top of that you had the hair metal and the heavy metal, and you had Guns N' Roses and Metallica coming out, and I listen, same thing. You had that CD folder. You go through.
Man.
You go through. There'd be Paul Simon next to next to Snoop Dogg. There was no rhyme or reason, but like you said, if you put it in, I mean, still to this day, you put on either the like it takes me back to college immediately. It throws you right back in that, and it's just
that's the beautiful part about music to me. Two things. One, it's one of the few things that has the ability to change your emotional state in an instance.
Yeah.
Like right away. You would be happy-go-lucky, and then they play you and your ex's favorite song.
Yeah.
And as soon as you hear "Come On," instantly, she used to think about, you know what I mean? And the other thing is that it's one of the few things that exists everywhere on this planet. You can go to an indigenous tribe in the middle of the jungle in Africa or in Asia somewhere or in the Philippines, whatever. Yeah. You can go in one of these little places and they have their drums and they have the string. Everybody has music, right? And so it's a universal language that's everywhere. You can go and see, go look up DMX at what's the crazy big festival, like rock festival? Oh my gosh, that he did.
It's the same one that Metallica did. It's it's
what is that called?
Monsters of Rock.
It was like a sea of people.
Yeah.
These people don't speak English.
No, they don't.
His song comes on. Y'all gonna make me. They're word for word.
Yeah.
They're speaking like people that are coming and trying to learn English. A lot of them will learn it through music, through listening to songs. This is a powerful thing. So for me, somebody that wants to make a huge impact in life, because that's my core goal and inspiration, like my motivation is I want to impact people in a major way, a large number of people. I want to be somebody that changes the world for the better. And even if it's just my world, you know what I'm saying? Not thinking I'm going to make it all the way up to those heights to be able to do something like that, but shoot, even just my world, right? And so when I see things like that, like they go out over and get that crowd. I see SZA go over and I think it was like Germany. She did it was like for her, one of her first overseas concerts. And she broke down crying because these Germans are singing her song word for word. And like she really tried to perform it and just had to stop and take it in because it's like, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. And for me, because I know my heart and I know that my heart won't be corrupted. I feel like, I'm one of those people that can take on what comes with that and do the right thing with it. And so I feel it's a responsibility to do that. And I didn't know how that was going to happen in my life, but I always knew. Like, I've had people speak that over me my whole life, man. Yeah. And I do believe it because I just, not to brag or anything, I feel awkward even, like, talking like this, but I do. Like, since I was a kid, I've made excellent impressions on people where they've loved me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not me trying to, it's just me being myself.
Yeah.
But it's because of the respect that I was raised up with, how I carry myself, how I speak, and the love for people that I have that I display, and people can see it's genuine. And so I feel like, okay, if I can get to where I want to be and make music a career, I can literally do that every day. And there's all kinds of stuff that I'll do outside of music. You know, that's just me. I can't be in just one place too long, man.
Right.
I gotta be busy, but I know that that'll be the foundation that takes me to that place, that puts me in the position not only to have the resources and ability myself, but to pull others in and have the connections with others that are also able and do major things to help people. So that's the goal. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal. That's the vision.
And for people jumping on right now to see the vision and to watch the journey, how they reach out, you're on Apple Music, you're on Spotify, everything.
Yeah, all
Isaiah
streaming
Keez,
platforms. Isaiah Keez, ISAIAH, like the Bible, and then Keez, Keez. Shout out to my dude Vino, man. He actually gave me like he really is instrumental. Like every platform I go on, I'm gonna shout my boy out because it wouldn't be a Isaiah Keez if it wasn't for Vino and his like motivating and push me to do it, encouragement. You know what I mean? Because I was self-conscious about it, and the name Keez came from everybody in Martinsburg, they call me Zeke.
Okay.
And it used to be Freaky Zeke, and over time, in my wilder phase, it was Freaky Zeke. It was before I was married, it was before my wife. Freaky Zeke. I was a ladies' man at that time, and it initially like dropped down to Zeke, and that stuck with me. And we're on the road running my father-in-law's business. We're in this F-250 diesel truck with no AC, riding on I-10 in Arizona, hot and delirious at this point. And we're just saying silly stuff. I really think we're borderline on the heat, like about to have a heat stroke, because we're just making each other giggle and laugh about the stupidest stuff. And he said my name backwards. So he was like Keez Drofla. Like, so Alfred's my last name. And so he's Keez Dro, and we just busted out laughing for like 15 minutes about that. And then like later on down the line, like we was sitting there and I decided like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, man, what's my name gonna be? Like, what am I? And I was just like, man, and he was like, you could do Keez Drofla, like laughing or whatever. And I'm laughing. I was like, I kind of like Keez though, because Zeke, I got that name from when I was just like a wild ass youngin'. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't care, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I've made like a 180 in my life. I've really grown and developed through some bumps in the road and a lot of, tragic things that I had to deal with and learn lessons from. I've grown a lot as a person. I wasn't always this person. And so, that's where Keez comes from, is just Zeke doing a 180 and moving in the opposite direction. And so, shout out to my boy Vino, man, for that. Man. Appreciate you.
All right, we hit probably one of the longest episodes we did, but I love it.
Yeah,
yes, that's great. Thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys for having me and what you're doing. There's so many people that's been on your platform that you continue. You're pushing the area forward and giving a platform for people to promote themselves and the different things going on and touch on different topics that may not be talked about in the public setting.
Right. I try not to approach it like a journalist, because like I can talk to a guitar player about gear, whereas like you wouldn't see that kind of like on a radio show.
And the thing is, that's what we pride ourselves on, because even when Jake brought it up to me about doing a podcast, I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be musicians. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be great. And that lasted for about a month. Then we were like, well, what about this? What about that? What do you think of this? And it's just, and the fact that we can bring people in, and we've had everything from artists to people that are running for offices and MMA and this. I mean,
you guys are growing.
We're here
man.
for it, man.
You guys I commend you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. That really means a lot.
That's a beautiful thing to have that wide range of things in one centralized area where you can just see all of that and digest all of that. So You guys got to support it in me, man. Keep going.
Appreciate
I'm
that.
grateful
That
for
means
you
a
all.
lot.
This is my first time ever doing a podcast, so
You did excellent. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
fantastic.
perfect.
So
I
it's
appreciate you guys, man.
but we'll definitely get you back. When's your next event?
So right now we have I got to get with Dan. I've been in the process of this CDO situation here,
Yeah.
and getting that school stuff done. Once that's done, then now it'll be time to really get back. So I'm hoping to have the next one around Thanksgiving, Black Friday, that time going into the Christmas holiday. And doing a big one then, and if it makes sense, one around Christmas, because I want to catch these times with the students that are here and really push it, not just for them to attend, but if there's any aspiring artists up there at the schools.
Right.
And what I'm maybe thinking about, if I can get enough support with the schools, giving a free slot to these individuals, and maybe they have an open mic night at their school, and the winner of that or something.
Oh, yeah.
Gets, you
That'd
get
be
what I
great.
mean? And so just tying it all together and
That'd be
things. So
cool.
I got to get in touch with some of the music departments in the schools and see if we could tie that together. But
Definitely let us know. We'll get you on here before you do. We'll get it promoted for you. We'll help
I
whatever way
appreciate
we
that.
can and get it out there and spread it. And
yes, sir.
We
I
can do
appreciate that.
another remote episode. We'll have to just come to him.
Yeah.
That's it. Listen, I want to get. We both do. We want to get that, man on the street thing really going, and it's just.
man.
I think. I'm not saying we. Jake's getting it like we're right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
the whole thing is I just don't want to be the guy that's interviewing like the Hawk Tuah girls. I need to find somebody that's more like can walk up to somebody like, "What's your body count?" You know what I mean?
Hey, listen. I'd say, yeah, man. Some of them, some of the answers, but man, I don't know if I'll be able to ask. Like, I'd be afraid, like, of what I'm gonna hear.
Yeah.
With some of the answers you see people just, and it's like you think the camera make them shy. That makes them put out the wildest.
not
shit.
anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
they're
funny
trying to
because,
go
like you
viral.
said, I'm not saying wait. Like I'm outgoing. I'm
Yeah.
very out. Like we'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know a stranger.
Right.
But for me to do a TikTok or anything, I'm like, I don't know. And everyone's like, I've been
Right.
asked, like, do cooking ones. You
Yeah,
don't have to show
yeah.
your face.
Right,
Just
right.
Do those. And I'm like,
It's just not a thing, guys.